In this experiment, we will study the example of double displacement reaction. In the previous experiment, we saw a single displacement reaction, and in this one, we will see double displacement. So for the experiment, you will need some water, 2 droppers, 3 test tube stand, along with dilute sulfuric acid and salts of barium chloride and sodium sulphate. So when a solution of sodium sulphate is mixed with barium chloride solution, the ions of sulphate displace the chloride ions in barium chloride solution, and similarly the chloride ions displace sulphate ions in sodium sulphate solution. So that is how a double displacement reaction takes place, thus giving rise to a white precipitate of barium sulphate. So to begin the experiment, take a test tube, mark it A with the marker, and in this test tube pour about 5 grams of sodium sulphate. Then to this sodium sulphate that you have added, pour about 5 ml of water using your dropper. You can shake this mixture and allow it to settle down. To another test tube which you have marked B, you can pour again 5 grams of barium chloride and similarly add about 5 ml of water. Shake the contents well of this solution as well. Now you have the 2 solutions ready. So take the third test tube, and in this test tube pour the 2 solutions, mix them together and notice any change. You would see immediately a white precipitate is formed, and allow this test tube to settle down so that the precipitate settles at the bottom of the test tube as a sediment. So after about 5 to 10 minutes, we allowed the precipitate sediment to settle down. This excess water that you can see, you can remove it with the help of a dropper. Just get rid of this extra water. And then this precipitate, this white precipitate that was formed, we will test it by adding some dilute sulfuric acid to this. If the dilute sulfuric acid is able to dissolve the precipitate, then it was not barium sulphate. But if the dilute sulfuric acid shows no action on the precipitate, the presence of barium sulphate is confirmed. So because you are dealing with sulfuric acid, it is advised that you wear your safety gloves and also use the dropper, and just add about a few drops of sulfuric acid. And observe carefully. You can shake the contents of the test tube, and you will observe that the barium sulphate precipitate is not dissolving. So this confirms the presence of barium sulphate solution. Hence, the double displacement reaction has taken place. So in the double displacement reaction, like I said before, the chloride ions have been displaced by the sulphate ions, and barium sulphate is insoluble in sulfuric acid, so that confirms the presence of the double displacement reaction.